Welcome to this week's story, a Sammy Spencer adventure titled Singing the Blues. But first, a word from our sponsor. Tired of your cat scratching your upholstery? Tired of the dog gnawing on your good slippers? Well, we have the solution. Bouncy Pouncy Pet Toys. All colors and all sizes for any cat or dog. We have catnip-infused scratching posts, tug ropes, bouncy balls, and all kinds of other toys for your animals. Big or small, we entertain them all. Available at fine pet stores everywhere. Not responsible for hairballs, separation anxiety, or clogged vacuum cleaners. Now, back to our story. Samantha Spencer, better known as Sammy, was hanging out with Ralph in the story and photo archives of the Telegraph Tribune. They were going over some night prints that Sammy had taken, in hopes of selling a few of them. Suddenly the phone rang. Ralph answered, then flinched, said, "Yes, sir," and hung up. He then turned to Sammy and exclaimed, "The boss wants you in his office right now." Ralph laughed and asked, "What have you done now?" And Sammy just shrugged and headed off. When Sammy got upstairs to the chief's office, she was told to take a seat. Then he tossed her a blue envelope addressed to her in care of the Tribune. He told her she must be getting famous because people are now sending fan mail, and then waited for her to open it. Sammy looked it over, saw it had no return name or return address anywhere. Puzzled, she took out a letter and noticed it smelled faintly of cigarette smoke and perfume. Looking at the letter, she thought to herself that this was very likely written by a female. It read, "Tommy Johnson's death wasn't an accident. Tommy was murdered. Check out Joey Sarducci. He was furious at Tommy for breaking his contract with him by quitting music. And he had it out for Tommy. Please investigate this and do a story on the low-life scum Joey Sarducci and his group of thugs." She reread the note, put it back in the blue envelope, and briefed her boss on what it said. The chief thought for a moment, then slapped his desk and told her to run with it. Nothing interesting had been going on around here lately, and it was about time she investigated something and wrote a story to earn her keep. Sammy headed down to the morgue and walked into the room, waving the envelope at Ralph. Ralph looked up, saw it, and asked her, "Fan mail or a death threat?" Sammy laughed and said, "It's a story lead." She dropped the letter on Ralph's desk and told him to read it. Ralph took the letter and read for a minute while Sammy started making a paperclip chain out of the office supplies. With a sideways glance, Ralph popped her on the back of the hand and told her to stop it. Then she asked, "Well, what do you think?" Ralph put the letter back in the envelope and turned and said to Sammy, "This is very interesting. Sounds like someone is up to no good, and someone else is scared." Sammy nodded and dropped the paperclip chain on Ralph's desk. Then she plopped down in a chair next to Ralph. She asked Ralph to dig up anything he could find on Tommy Johnson, his death, and Joey Sarducci. She said, "Meanwhile, I'm going to call the coroner's office and see what I can find out." As Sammy was dialing the phone, she was thinking of where to start finding out more about the music business, and she had a flashbulb go off, snapped her fingers, and said, "Duke!" She could go see her friend and find out if he knew of Tommy Johnson or Joey Sarducci or anything else he could tell her. It was, after all, close to lunchtime, and Sammy hadn't eaten yet, so after getting a takeout order from Ralph, she headed over to the Marquee Lounge to find Duke and ask a few questions. And that ends our first installment of Singing the Blues with Sammy Spencer. So please comment, rate, subscribe, tell your friends, share this out there. This is Radio Static Productions, and now ends our broadcast day.